Okay, so now let's move into how to incorporate this discussion into a classroom. We have some tips or tools that may make it easier. Tool number 1, make it safe to talk. You want to make sure both parties or everyone involved is comfortable speaking their thoughts and feelings. To be comfortable means to being able to express their thoughts and feelings without feeling threatened. In order to make a conversation safe, you want to embrace a mutual purpose. You have to care about the interests of others as well as your own. You also want to offer mutual respect. When another misinterprets your purpose or intent, you would use a contrasting statement. A contrasting statement is a don't or do statement that clearly states a message you are not trying to send and then states a message you are trying to send. An example is, I'm not trying to say that everyone is doing something wrong to the environment. I am trying to say that we should be aware of our effects on the environment. The tool number 2 is to listen. This is pretty self-explanatory. You should always seek first to understand and then to be understood. While everyone is focused on listening rather than being heard, it will become a much better environment. Tool number 3, adopt the yes and stance. The essence of the yes and concept is a validation that both your view of the situation and that of another person have value and you do not have to choose which one is right. An example, I now understand that you walked away feeling isolated and lonely. I also walked away from the meeting feeling unheard and dismissed. The critical component is that you allow yourself to express your view and listen to the other person's view as well. Tool number 4, learn to recognize your stories, separate impact and intent. We tell ourselves stories when we add meaning to another's behavior without checking if our conclusions are actually right. In order to not jump ahead of yourself, ask yourself these 3 questions. What did the other person actually say or do? What is the impact of this on me? Based on this impact, what assumption I'm now making about what the other person intended? Once you've answered those questions, you can now understand that your assumption is just a guess and it could be wrong. In the conversation, you can ask or share anything on what you think the intent was versus what the actual intent was. In conversation, however, it is super important that you label these guesses as assumptions. An example is, you did not return any of my phone calls. Because you did not return any of my phone calls, I assumed you did not care about me. Tool number 5, use I statements. Statements that start with you sound accusatory and blaming. I statements directs the focus on you versus the other person. An example is, you don't understand me versus I feel that you are not listening to what I have to say. And the final tool, tool number 6, focus on contribution, not blame. You want to focus on how to contribute to get better or to solve a problem, but you don't want to point fingers at anyone.